Canadian wildfire smoke causes air quality alert in tri-state area. A thick cloud of smoke from Canadian wildfires has blanketed the tri-state area, triggering an air quality alert that stretches into the weekend. But here's where it gets controversial. Is this a temporary inconvenience or a glimpse of a new normal in our climate reality? Let's break it down. The smoke, carried south by northerly winds, has created a hazy veil over the region, reducing visibility to 4 to 6 miles and giving the air a faint, smoky scent. New York City Emergency Management issued a stark warning. Sensitive groups like children, older adults, and those with respiratory or heart conditions face an unhealthy air quality level. The Air Quality Index, AQI, has hit level orange, 101 to 150, meaning even healthy individuals should limit outdoor exertion. What does this mean for you? If you're in a high-risk group, the advice is clear. Close windows, use air purifiers, and consider wearing an N95 mask if you must go outside. For others, the risk remains low, but the science is undeniable. Fine particulate matter, PM 2.5, can drill deep into the lungs, causing irritation, coughing, and even worsening chronic conditions like asthma. Suffolk County's health department put it plainly. These tiny particles aren't just a nuisance, they're a health hazard. And here's the twist. Just as the smoke clears, the heat returns. A dangerous heat wave kicks in Monday, with temperatures soaring to a stifling 105 degrees under the heat index. This creates a double whammy, polluted air paired with sweltering heat, which could strain the body in unexpected ways. Should we be doing more to prepare for these overlapping crises? The Department of Environmental Conservation, DEC, and Department of Health, DOH, monitor pollution levels closely, issuing advisories when ozone or PM 2.5 concentrations exceed the AQI threshold of 100. The AQI itself is a handy tool, translating complex pollution data into a simple scale, 0 to 500, where higher numbers mean greater danger. But this raises a question. How many of us actually check the AQI before heading out? To stay informed, you can track real-time air quality here. And if you're wondering how this smoke traveled so far, well, it's a reminder of how interconnected our ecosystems are. Wildfires in Canada aren't just a local issue. Their impacts ripple across borders. What do you think? Are governments doing enough to protect vulnerable populations from these invisible threats? Share your thoughts below. In the meantime, stay safe, stay informed, and remember, the air we breathe is worth protecting. Need more updates? Sign up for our Eyewitness News alerts. Explore more New York City stories. Have a tip? Send it our way. Download the ABC7NY app for breaking news. Follow us on YouTube for daily coverage. Submit a tip or story idea to Eyewitness News. Got a breaking news lead or a story we should cover? Share it with us using our form. Terms apply if sending photos or videos. Copyright 2025 WABC TV. All rights reserved. Next, air quality alert. Wildfire smoke heat wave impact. What you need to know. NYC faces double threat. Wildfire smoke returns as heat wave looms. New York City residents are once again grappling with deteriorating air quality. But this time, it's a perfect storm of two environmental challenges. Smoke drifting thousands of miles from wildfires in Western Canada and the U.S., combined with an incoming heat wave, is creating potentially hazardous conditions that could persist throughout the week. The National Weather Service, NWS, reports that complex wind patterns in the jet stream have been funneling smoke across the continent to the East Coast. Think of it like a meandering river in the sky, explains NWS meteorologist David Stark. The smoke doesn't travel in a straight line, but rather follows the natural undulations of these high-altitude wind currents. While Sunday might bring temporary relief from the smoke, the city's air quality challenges are far from over. A heat advisory warns that Monday and Tuesday's combination of high temperatures and humidity will create additional air quality concerns, though the smoke remains primarily in higher altitudes, creating a visible haze rather than ground-level pollution, its impact is still significant. State environmental monitoring reveals a concerning pattern. Several areas, including South and Central Brooklyn, Upper Manhattan, and Eastern Queens, have reached levels considered unhealthy for sensitive groups. Health officials are particularly concerned about children and individuals with respiratory conditions, strongly advising them to limit outdoor exposure. But here's where perspectives differ. Some New Yorkers, like Brooklyn runner Sean Morris, 43, take a pragmatic view. Living in an industrial area like Bushwick, you're already dealing with various pollutants, he notes. You almost become accustomed to it. This raises an important question about urban environmental adaptation, but at what cost to public health? Perhaps most alarming is the increasing frequency of these smoke-related air quality issues in NYC. Climate experts point to this as yet another consequence of global warming. While current conditions aren't expected to match the apocalyptic orange skies of June 2023's Canadian wildfire smoke event, they represent a troubling trend. Local resident Joseph Curley, 35, captures the contrast perfectly. Last year looked like the gates of hell had opened, he recalls, noting that even today's less severe conditions were enough to irritate his eyes during an outdoor concert. And here's the controversial part. As these episodes become more common, should cities like New York be developing more aggressive climate adaptation strategies? Some experts argue for massive infrastructure changes, while others advocate for individual-level solutions. What do you think? Should we accept this as our new normal or demand more dramatic action? Share your thoughts. Have you noticed changes in air quality where you live? How are you adapting to these new environmental challenges? Let's discuss in the comments below. Air quality alert in New York. Wildfire smoke impact health tips for 2025. In a remarkable turn of events, an air quality alert has been issued for a significant portion of New York State, including the capital region, and it has now been extended into Sunday. This alert, put forth by the State Department of Environmental Conservation, DEC, is set to remain in effect until midnight Sunday. The affected areas comprise not only the capital region, but also the Adirondacks, Hudson Valley, New York City, and Long Island. Outdoor air quality levels in these regions saw a troubling spike, with the Air Quality Index, AQI, surpassing 100 on Saturday, largely due to the influx of wildfire smoke coming from Canada. According to projections from airnow.gov, AQI levels are anticipated to reach or exceed 100 once more on Sunday. The AQI is a tool used to measure air pollution, ranging from 0 to 500. Higher AQI numbers indicate a greater potential threat to health, as highlighted by the DEC. For those with specific sensitivities, any AQI rating above 100 signals concerning pollution levels. When the AQI exceeds 151, the air quality is deemed unhealthy for all individuals, not just those with sensitivities. In Albany specifically, residents experienced a smoky haze that enveloped the city, leading to an alarming AQI rating of 160 at 4 p.m. on Saturday, far surpassing the DEC's initial forecast of a maximum of 125 for the day. Meanwhile, in the northern Adirondacks, the AQI peaked at a staggering 187 at 10:30 a.m. Saturday, though it later decreased to 128 by 4 p.m. As a precautionary measure, both the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, and the DEC recommend that vulnerable populations, such as the elderly, children, and those living with respiratory issues, asthma, or heart conditions, minimize their exposure to these hazardous pollutants by staying indoors as much as possible whenever AQI levels rise above 100. The primary pollutant of concern this weekend is fine particulate matter. The DEC has issued alerts about fine particulates, which are defined as tiny solid particles or liquid droplets in the air that are 2.5 microns or smaller in diameter. For individuals in sensitive groups or those with pre-existing health issues, exposure to these particles can lead to serious health problems. Health impacts associated with inhaling fine particulates can manifest as short-term effects, including irritation of the eyes, nose, and throat, coughing, sneezing, a runny nose, and difficulty breathing, as noted in the DEC's release on Saturday. Moreover, the DEC emphasizes that when outdoor levels of particulate matter are elevated, staying indoors may help reduce exposure. However, it's important to note that if there are significant indoor sources of particulate matter, the levels inside may not be significantly lower than those outside. Strategies to mitigate exposure include limiting both outdoor and indoor sources and steering clear of intense physical activities in areas known for high concentrations of fine particles. Interestingly, just north of New York, Montreal registered the worst air quality in the world on Saturday, as wildfire smoke from Western Canada settled thickly over the city. According to the Montreal Gazette, this evolving situation shines a light on a critical public health issue. What are your thoughts on how air quality alerts are communicated and managed? What measures do you believe communities should take to combat the impacts of poor air quality? Share your opinions below.